Alright, so this is going to be day 92 for Integrated Math 1. We're going to be creating systems of linear equations. So in math gets pretty boring because we do a lot of procedural stuff and then we try to connect it to the concept. So I show you the iPads and like we work on Desmos, where we do those activities, or we look in the graphing calculator, or we try to do activities that connect the concept. And then I want you to know all of this math is not just for you to know it, it's also for you to apply it into real life. So today we're going to be applying the math we've been learning to real life, okay? So today's like application day, okay? That's the purpose for today. So we've learned 3 ways to solve systems of equations. The first way was to graph, okay? How do you find the answer when you graph them? Where's the answer when you graph them? Where the points connect. Good, okay? And then I taught you algebraically 2 ways to do it algebraically. One of the ways I said, logically speaking, isn't y equal to y? What was that called? It starts with an S.
Substitution.
Good, substitution. Remember that? Okay. So we have substitution, y is equal to y. We could replace each side with a type of, or that part of the equation with what that equation is equal to, and then we could solve. And then lastly, we talked about elimination was when we get rid of one, okay? It doesn't matter what you use, you always get the same answer. Okay? Did y'all get that? Okay, awesome. So, here we go. So that's what we're looking at today. Steps are on the board too, or on the video. So just watch me and we'll go through this together, okay? So today we're talking about stories, so we gotta listen and read along and think about what's happening here, okay? Number one cable company provider has a $60 setup fee and charges $80 per month. And another cable provider has a $160 equipment fee and charges $70 per month. Determine how long it will take them to charge the same amount and what will the amount be. Okay? So the story is about a cable company, like internet cable. I have internet cable. Does anyone have like cable, like TV or cable internet at home? Raise your hand if you have any of that. Okay, cool. So when you buy the service, they give you an initial charge and then they charge you per month. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So just looking at this, which one is better?
First one.
Why is it the first one better?
The setup's cheaper and the charge per month is cheaper.
The charge per month is cheaper? This one's $80 per month and the other one's $70 per month. But you're right. Is the setup cheaper on the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like he's absolutely right. So the first month, you only pay $60 for the setup fee and then $80 per month thereafter. So the first month is $140, okay? Whereas the second one, how much is it for the first month? 160 plus 70. What's that? 230, right? It's quite a bit more. Does that make sense so far? Okay, cool. So what if you were going to live at your place a long time and you knew you were going to use the same internet provider? Which one would you use, the first or second one?
Second.
Why? You're right. Why would you use the second one? I just want to remind you, you're all going to be adults when you're going to have to make decisions. Don't you want to make a decision that's going to save you money? Yes or no? Okay, good. So why is the second one cheaper over the long run? It's not a trick question. Why? Yep.
Because after a certain amount of time, that $10 less, or say that $10 less a month is going to save you thousands of dollars if you're there for years and years.
Okay, good. $10 a month will be, you'll save, and over time you're going to get that money back. So would you agree that at one point they're both going to maybe be the same price?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be, right? Okay, good. So I'm going to read this story again. Listen to the story, and then we're going to work with it, okay? So one cable company provider has a $60 setup fee and charges $80 per month, and another cable provider has a $160 equipment fee and charges $70 per month. Okay? Determine how long it will take them to charge the same amount and what will that amount be. Okay, so I'm going to think about this in terms of each company. Okay, so eyes up on my screen. The first company, I'll use the color red. Okay, let's just say that I want to find the total cost. I know that when I first buy the first company, the initial fee is how much? $60, right? So I'm going to put down $60, and then I'm also going to pay an $80 service fee each month. So it's going to be 80 times X, right? So where X represents the total months, right? So we got initial service fee plus the monthly fee times that 1 month is equal to the total fee I'm going to pay, which is equal to Y. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Okay. So if that's the equation for the first one, what would the second equation be for the second company? Turn to your neighbors really quick and discuss. What would the second equation be for the second company if this is the first one? Okay, ready, set, go. Okay, so what would the equation be for the second one, everyone? Y equals what? Or the total cost is how much? 160 plus 70x. Okay, awesome. Cool. So, which method would you use now? Would you graph it? Would you use substitution? Would you use elimination? What would you use? Okay, graph is the easiest. Okay, I would graph it. Okay, but let's use the graphing the checker work. Let's pick another one. Substitution or elimination? Good, substitution. Okay, let's do that one. We'll do elimination on the next one, okay? So we got y is equal to y, and we're going to work from there. So why don't we take a moment. I just want you to write down the red equation, the green equation, and y is equal to y. And then we're going to start working this out together. I'll give you about a minute to catch up, okay? So y is equal to y. So this first y is equal to 60 plus 80x. So I'm going to write 60 plus 80x. So write that along with me. And the second y is equal to what? 160 plus 70x. Okay. How would you solve this? How do you get x by itself? We know how to do this, so... Okay, why don't I give you a minute to solve for x and for y in this problem. Work with your group, okay? Here's some math chatting, you're working together. How do you solve this? This is already know. This is the math that we already know how to do. Okay, go. You said x is equal to 10. Let me check your work. And by the way, what does 10 represent? What does x represent in this problem? No. The month, right? How many months, right? What does y represent? The total cost, good. Not just the fee, it's going to be the fee plus the monthly fee, right? It's going to be the total cost, okay? So you got 10. Let's see if you're right. We're going to subtract 70x on both sides. And then we get 60 plus 10x is equal to 160. Subtract 60 on both sides. We get 10x is equal to 100. So divide both sides by 10. So x is equal to 10. Okay? Same answer, right? How do you get the y now? How would you get the y? How would we get y?
Substitute x
Into where?
into the equation.
Which one?
Smaller one
Okay, which one's smaller? The first or second equation?
first.
Okay, first one. Does it matter which one you pick? Yes or no?
No.
No, okay, good. I need your participation, okay? So we're going to take the first equation. It doesn't really matter which one, so you said the first y equals to 60 plus 80x. And instead of x, we're going to put in what? 10, okay? So we're going to put y is equal to 60 plus 800, or y is equal to 860, okay? So what does 860 represent? Y, which represents what? The total cost, right? That means after 10 months, you're going to be paying how much?
$860.
To which company? The first, the second, or both of them?
Both of them.
To both of them. Does that make sense? Good. So I got a question. Let's do a little bit of what-if analysis. What if you were going to live in your house just for 6 months? Which plan would you get? The first or the second plan? Why? Because it's cheaper. Good. What happens if you're going to be there for like 11 months? Which one would you pick? Good. The second plan. Why? What if you're going to be there like for 5 years? Which one are you going to pick?
Second.
Good. What if you're going to be there for like 10 months?
It matters.
Either one, it doesn't matter. Does that make sense? What if you're going to be there for 10 months or more? Which one should you pick?
Second.
Second one. Good. Excellent. What if you're going to be there 10 months or less?
First
Okay, good. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm bringing this up to you because, we just taken the problem and we made it a math problem and then we figured out which the answer is and now we're bringing it back to making the right decision. Okay, cool. So I wanted to show you one more thing. We're going to plug these into Desmos. I can't really show you that on the video, but I'll have the class plug these in. You're going to plug in, if you are on the video, you want to check this out, plug in these two equations for me, please. This first one and the second one, okay? Okay, let's try this next one, okay? Let's do this one with the P stone. Okay, number 2. So I just want you to know what P stone is. P stone is not, it doesn't have P on it. P stone is like little rocks, okay? If you ever go to like someone's house or like a store, they might have pea stone. It looks like a bunch of little rocks that are glued to the floor. You know what I'm talking about? Little pebbles. It's really smooth. If you're walking on it barefoot, it feels good on your feet. Maybe by a swimming pool, pea stone. Okay. No joke. It feels good. Anyway, so pea stone, someone has to install it. Okay. Pea stone is they have to buy it and install it. So this problem is going to talk about pea stone, okay? Here we go, number 2. Determine when the two companies deliver the same amount of pea stone and the cost for the amount, okay? So we got two companies here. Looks like we got Yard Depot and the Lawn and Garden Store, okay? So the Yard Depot for one cubic yard is $75. For 2 cubic yards, it's $110. For 3 cubic yards, it's $145. Okay? Make sense so far? For the lawn and garden store, for 1 cubic yard, they charge only $45. For 2 cubic yards, they charge $85, and then for 3 cubic yards, they charge $125. Does that make sense so far? Okay, good. So now we kind of have to sort things out and figure out what each equation will be. So this is a little bit harder. We have a story, now we have to turn it into math, okay? So when I do these kinds of problems, I have to see if there are any patterns, okay? So I'm looking here, let's just focus on the Yard Depot. Okay, on the Yard Depot, I noticed just to get 1 cubic yard, it's $75, okay? From 1 to 2, they'll charge how much more? Well, they'll charge $35 more. And from 2 to 3, they charge another $35. Make sense so far? Okay, cool. So for 1, now what happened is it sounds like each cubic yard is $35, right? But why is 1 cubic yard $75? Why do you think it's $75 and not just $35? Well, they probably have an initial fee, right? Okay, so if I were to think backwards, what would their initial fee be if they were just to come on out? $40. How'd you get that? Good. Good. 35 or 75 minus 35 is 40. That means just to come on out, they're going to charge $40, right? Does that make sense? Okay, on this one now, lawn and garden. For 1, I'll use a different color. For 1 cubic yard of material, it's $45. And then from 45 to 85, how much more are they charging? 45 to 85, how much more? $40, right? And then from 85 to 125, how much more are they charging? 40, good, okay. So they charge more for each cubic yard of material, but what's their initial fee if we're going to think backwards? Let's say they just come on out. What's their initial fee? How much? 5, right? Cool, so now I'm going to make an equation, okay? So let's do the first one. We got the Yard Depot, y is equal to, or their total cost is going to be equal to their initial fee. How much is their initial fee? 40 plus how much do they charge per? $35, right? Per each cubic yard of material, right? So if they have 1 cubic yard of material, you got 35 times 1 is 35 plus 40 is 75. You see right here, that's 75. Okay? What would the lawn and garden be? What would their equation be? Put that underneath. Work with your group really quick. Y equals to 5 plus 40x. Okay, good. Okay, solve this with your group. I want you to tell me what x and y are and what they mean in the story, okay? You can talk with your group to solve this. Go. You said x is equal to 7 and y is equal to 285. What does that x represent again? In regards to the story, think about the story. Okay, what does x represent? How many yards? Good. So how many yards of material? 7 cubic yards. Okay. And then what does the y represent? The total cost. Good. Okay. So raise your hand if you used elimination. Raise your hand if you used substitution. Raise your hand if you used graphing. Okay, check this out. You could actually use elimination on this one also. I'll show you, combined methods. This is all organized, right? It all looks nice. What's y minus y? What's y minus y, everyone? 0, right? 40 minus 5 is 35. Good. 35x minus 40x is... What's that? Negative 5x. Good. So we're going to add 5x to both sides. So we got 5x is equal to 35. Divide both sides by 5. So you got x is equal to 7. Okay? And there's your answer for the x, which represents how many cubic yards. How do you find the y again? Once you find x, how do you find y? Substitute back in. Which one do you want to do or put it back into? The first or second equation? Does it matter?
No.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's do the second equation because I like multiplying 40 times 7. 35 times 7 seems a little bit more difficult. So we got y is equal to 5 plus 40x, and instead of x I'm using 7. 40 times 7 is 280. And then 280 plus 5 is 285. That's the price, right? Cool. So which one would you choose? Which one's better? The first or second company? The Yard Depot or the Lawn and Garden? Turn your group. Which one would you buy? Okay, so which one's better?
First one.
Is the first one always better?
Not always.
Oh, I heard a lot of you saying it depends.
It does depend.
What does it depend on?
How much you're getting.
How much material you're getting, right? What if you just need a little bit, like 1 cubic yard? What would you get?
I get
The first or second one? Good. What if it's like you want to get 7 cubic yards? Which one would you get?
both of them.
Both. It doesn't matter, right? What if you start off with 7, but you're like, I might need a little bit more, but I know I need at least 7. Which one would you get?
I get the second. What? No, the first one.
First or second? First one, right? Isn't it cheaper per cubic yard? Okay, good. So, we have to think about the story, right? You have to think about what you're making or what you're buying, right? It's very important to understand these things. Okay, cool. That's it. That concludes the lesson. So now we're going to go to closure. So I'd like you to discuss these 4 questions. Actually, it's 3 questions. What did we learn? How do we do that? And what kind of real-life situations can we use these questions or equations? Ready, set, and